Pathways Academy is a faith-based middle school initiative where we try to focus on at-risk young boys here in the Danbury area. We really want to get them on the right path at a very early stage in their life so that they can move in a direction that makes them all that they would want to be, all that God would want them to be. And all that we do, we try to demonstrate what being a Christian is all about. And that is helping one another, loving one another, caring for one another. And that's what we try to make sure our students understand. We try to make students understand that every time you get pushed, you don't need to strike back.
There is actually a lot of bullies, but they don't really bully me though. But they bully a lot of people except me, and I don't really feel comfortable with it because most of the people they bully is my friends, and I get really mad when they do.
I think the big gap is we have a traditional system that really hasn't changed since the 1800s or even before that, actually. And we have kids that don't fit into that. And we say we educate every kid and try to do that. And we really try to do that and stick a round peg into a square hole with a lot of kids.
The Gates Foundation states that there's a 50% dropout rate for at-risk students. That stat is amazing. That we can do something about that. I don't want to sit on the sidelines. I want to be in the game. I want to be a part of the solution, not a part of the problem. I don't want to be a pundit or a commentator who sits on the sideline talking about a problem. I want to roll up my sleeves and get my hands dirty. I think that was the example of Christ. That's been the example of many people in my life throughout my history and heritage of those who are reaching back to make a difference.
Pathways Academy, it really explains stuff a lot better. If you don't really understand anything too much, it's the teachers are just going to explain it so much better and so much clearer than, because in 5th grade they would just draw something out on the chalkboard and then just call it a day.
I can say that they're a lot of fun and very different, and they're challenging, which I think for me as a teacher has been a really positive experience to get them to engage with history, which is what I love, and most of them don't, in a way that's meaningful to them.
I love the youth first, and I love working with young kids. Growing up for me was tough. I didn't have a mentor or a father figure in my life, and I know just how important it is for a male role model, positive role model for kids in their upcoming and their adolescence.
Everyone here is my friends, and they care about me, and we always hang out with each other, and we do a lot of stuff with each other.
We believe if we can bring home the kind of behavioral things that they need to focus on, the kind of academic discipline that they need to focus on, or the kind of spiritual maturity that they need to bring into their lives to help them and give them a solid base, that we could put them on the right path to the future. We love for all of our boys as they hit the 9th grade, for them to at least be able to articulate a path to the future. And that's really what we're looking for.
Naturally, boys want to be moving around. They learn like that. Boys are more multicentrial. So I tend to play games to reinforce what we've learned. I tend to have them working in groups and activities. They're constantly moving, doing something. It helps them to retain the information better, but it also just helps them to burn off some of that energy.
We took them to Brooklyn, and throughout talking about Egypt, we also got to take them to a Middle Eastern restaurant that was completely decorated, as it would be in any place in the Middle East, really beautiful. And they got to experience all of this food that they never would have come into contact with. And in a public school where you have 100 and something kids, or 30, even 30 kids a class, it's pretty impossible to engage a student in that way. And so my class, I think that they get to learn what's happening in the world presently and historically, and then engage in that.
We were kind of surprised how much they love to pray. And they truly believe that believing in a higher power and having a faith motivates them. They know that they're secure, they're taken care of, and I think that adds a lot to it.
Well, I was going to church. I was going to church most of the Sundays, and I knew about God, but sometimes I just I wouldn't care. I would think about him and just sometimes wouldn't even think he existed. But now, since I'm at a Christian-based school, I got closer to God, and I actually really love God now.
In every class it shows you the 10 Commandments, like you shall not lie, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, and everything else. People here at this school, they don't do that, and so because they respect the school and they want to represent to people from all over the world.
We have something here called a token economy. It's a monetary system, and what it does is it allows our students to experience the concept of you get paid if you work.
If you win a game, you do good, get an A+ on a test, or an A, you just get money and your money keeps on adding up. But there's ways also you can lose money by saying a bad word, just leaning back in your chair, and you get money for coming here every day. You get money for that. And then Alex, our administrative director, he adds up all the money, and then we get our checks back. And then whatever we have in our account, we can go to the school store and we can buy things.
Token economy is just a way to try to teach the young men to have a good financial mind state, financial literacy. So many young men, especially in an at-risk environment, don't find out about finance until it's way too late.
The fact that they're thinking, period, but the fact that they're also thinking logically, and they're thinking about the work they do, they're thinking about their classmates, and I think when they go home, what they learn here impacts that environment as well.
I'm sensing overall that the parents are really pleased with the work that we're doing with the boys. They help out in any capacity. They're always willing to jump in and help out whenever they can. So I think they're thinking it's a great fit for their boys to be here. And a lot of them have told other people about the school. And overall, I think they're generally pleased.
It's mad fun. It's easy to concentrate, and we all learn at our own pace.
I read The Magic Finger. I read about Kobe, Shaq, Grant Hill, and I read a lot of things. I can't remember.
You can see the excitement when they start to learn about something that they were unaware of, and they start to ask questions, and then they start to go to the dictionaries. I get real excited.
We do something called the reading labs here in the library, and it's just where the boys get to reinforce reading skills, develop critical thinking skills, and they read for about a good hour. And we'd love to have reading buddies. Some of the boys already have them, but for next year we're going to get 2 more 6th grade classes in, and we're going to need volunteers to come in just an hour a week if you can, to come in and read with the boys and help us in that effort.
We have a small school currently, we have a small staff, but if every young man that passed through these doors decided to do what we do, then you will see that in 10 years you would have a lot larger group of young men that would also be looking back trying to pour into some boys themselves. And I believe that's really where the community begins to shift.
I want to learn how to save people's lives when I'm a doctor or a vet, to save people's dogs, care for dogs, help people, give them medication and stuff, and help just care for them.